Hi, I'm so glad you're interested in my matchmaking services. I wanted to make this video so that you'd understand a little bit better how this all works. So let me walk you through the process. Basically, I don't offer matchmaking services to the general public. This is not something that I charge for a fee for anyone. What I do is I do matchmaking for my clients. So if you want to matchmake with me, or if you want me to matchmake for you, then you're going to have to work with me. So we have to be a good fit to work together. I'm a retired mental health counselor, retired marriage and family therapist. So now that I work for myself, I'm basically a consultant on all those things that fall under that scope of experience. So it's general mental health, well-being, wellness, it's relationships, it's self-development, it's family, it's couples, it's marriage, it's all of the above. And basically, if you're a finished product and your life is perfect, then you don't need me. But if you're here, it's probably because you're not 100% satisfied with the way your life is going. And if you're single and you're ready to meet Mr. or Mrs. Right, then this is the right place for you if we agree on certain values and certain methods of doing things. So hopefully you're a little bit familiar with the work that I do and the content that I put out there, because basically, if you read my book, you'll know my whole emphasis is on aligning on these values, and for you to know enough about me to know that you admire me, that you at least respect what I do for a living and you respect my lifestyle and you kind of want something similar, right? Like, I'm not going to tell you how to do things that I'm not an expert in. I applied the same system that I'm going to teach you in my own life. And I am happy and I am healthy and I am successful in my own way. Not anybody else's way, but my way. And if it's something that speaks to you, then that's what matters. So maybe you do know a lot about what I do and maybe you don't. But I will say that we have time. There is no rush to figure out if we are a good fit. So in order to do that, what I would suggest is buying my book and my workbook and going through that. Don't rush, take your time, but it's not a long book. You don't have to finish the workbook, but I would at least do an overview, look at it, get more in depth into the exercises and the activities that I do with my clients, whether in group coaching or in one-to-one coaching, so that you have a little bit of an idea. If you really don't like it, then you know maybe it's not going to be a good fit for you. But if it speaks to you, if it resonates and you just feel enthusiastic and excited about the work that I do, then I would say take a closer look. So what you can do after you get the book and the workbook, you don't have to get the workbook, but I do advise it. Why not? It's kind of a cool visual and tangible thing for you to work with and kind of practice some of the concepts that I'm explaining in the book. So if you want, you can also subscribe to my paid email coaching newsletter. So the email coaching newsletter goes out once a week on Sundays. I may change the day later on, but for now it's on Sundays. And I put out a long form piece where I explain some content in depth that's relevant to the work that I'm doing with clients and for you. And I expect to have some kind of correspondence back and forth with you, because we're going to have had some at least contact where you fill out my online application, you probably get my 15-minute free discovery call. And so I'm familiar with you and I have a basis for working together, even though we've never maybe had a one-off standalone consultation call. So in that email format, we can get to know each other. I can help advise you. Sometimes people use me to help them with their text messaging with people that they're getting to know, dating, their healthy relationship development if they are already coupled or married. And sometimes it's about kind of unpacking old historic challenges or problems that they never quite figured out. And so it can be all of the above, but usually it is relevant to something I am writing on currently in the email newsletter. So that's another great way for a very affordable rate. It's only $10 a month. I will end up raising the price and probably do like a tiered system so that it'll be stay the same for like the general email coaching newsletter, but then I'll have the higher tier for people who actually want and utilize the email coaching, and I'll just stick to the $10 a month for the people who are just consuming the content on their own without having the engagement with me. And that's totally fine. But I want to keep all my numbers small in my business. My business is a boutique business and it's very intensive in a personal way, right? Like I customize my services for you enough that whatever you need, I'm available enough to you, more so than other people, but not so much so that I'm sacrificing my own well-being. So I definitely have boundaries, but I am quite flexible, and I want to make sure that you have my help when you need it. Because when I was in practice, before I was retired, that was one thing that I noticed, that people would need me in real life times, but then they couldn't see me for, a couple of weeks when their appointment was booked. But that didn't really help. They needed me at a particular time. So in this way, by keeping my numbers down, I can make myself accessible enough to be there when you need me, and also to get familiar with me as well. So it's not like a mask that I'm putting on when I talk to you. You do actually get to know me as well. So that's why I'm also very protective with the people that I work with, because they get a lot of access to me and my life. So I don't have more than 20 clients, one-to-one or couples or family, and I don't have more than 20 people in my groups, for my coaching groups. Either the men's group or the women's group is maxed at 20. So the email coaching newsletter, it's maxed at 100 people, and I still have room for all of these things. So definitely let me know if that's something that you're interested in, and you and I can get to know each other enough so that I can vet you, you can vet me, to see if we're a good fit. The best way to do that is by a one-on-one consultation call. So you can buy the one-on-one consultation call, no obligations beyond that. The prices are listed on my Linktree link, and so you can definitely look at that if you're interested, and we can kind of discuss what you're dealing with currently, maybe some historical things that could be relevant to your current circumstances, and the plan going forward, and just feel each other out. And that's totally fine, because ongoing from there, I only work with people on a minimum of a 3-month basis. So you have to have that commitment, and you have to have that accountability so that you're self-motivated enough to do the work. And I put it at 3 months because 3 is a good number. I like the beginning, the middle, and the end. And it at least gives you a way to say, hey, I'm going to invest in this process. I'm not just going to do it when it's convenient for me. I'm going to have some continuity there. So whether you want 1 call a month, 2 calls a month, or you're ready to sign up for the annual plan, which does give you a cost benefit, lowers the cost a bit, and it gives you a lot of flexibility. So I do advise that. But if you want to try it out on a month-to-month basis first, absolutely, that makes sense. And you're going to get the most help from me if you sign up for the one-to-one. Anyway, getting back to matchmaking. The matchmaking happens with these people that I'm working with in some shape or form. Now, I'm not going to be introducing you to a whole bunch of people. I'm not going to be giving you profiles for a whole bunch of people. Basically, because you're in the pool of the clients that I'm getting to know and help develop so well, then I'm going to have the insight on where you're at and who you would match with. So why not? This was an organic place that I came to in my business, because I had all these men that were single. Not all of them are single, but the ones that are, that wanted to find an ideal woman. And I had all these women who were single that wanted to find an ideal man. And sometimes I'm like, you guys might make a really good match. So voila, that's how it came to be. So among my clients who consent to this matchmaking service, I go through a process. I have my own, I call it the ideal partner profile that I developed, and you can fill that out, and we go through that together. It's kind of like a drafting process. It's hardly ever a finished product, but there does come a time when it's ready to go. So when you're ready and he's ready, or vice versa, and I feel like I found someone that could really, really click with you, I've gone through all the vetting process with both of you, and I've really ruled out all of the red flags, all the basic ones. So all there really needs to be is a confirmation of chemistry. So it makes your job a whole lot easier. And it's not really that expensive. And it depends on how long it takes, right? Like if you're committing to your own development, then it's going to be an ongoing thing. I would give it at least a minimum of 6 months. I mean, absolutely the mandatory minimum is 3 months, but I would put aside 6 months to a year of your own self-development to transform your life, to really get everything that you ever wanted aligned with your ideal self, your ideal relationship, and your ideal lifestyle. So that's the goal, is to have all of those congruent so that you're ready. It will never be something that you will regret doing because you're going to enjoy the process along the way and feel so confident and competent about yourself. So I hope that makes sense to you. I explained the matchmaking process a little bit more and also just how I work with people in general. And if you have any other questions, you can feel free to reach out to me. You can comment below. Ciao for now.